Alrighty, can this Alloyworks radiator keep this beast of a 440 cool? Dad, you ready?
I reckon.
Give her your best. Welcome back, guys, gals, and everybody in between. Can you smell that in the air? That is the smell of fabrication, because today we're going to be putting a radiator to the test. Not just any radiator, but a radiator from a company that I've seen reviewed by other friends of mine, such as William from Charger 383 Mopar. And he did a review on his, and he seemed to really dig it. And when this company reached out to me, and they said, "Hey, Jed, you want to do a review on one of our radiators? Take whichever one you want, and we'll send it to you and you do a review." And I was like, well, I really can't think of anything I need a radiator particularly for, but you know what? It never hurts to have a good radiator laying around, because we've all been to a swap meet and thought we were going to buy a good one, and you wind up with stuff like that that just spews water everywhere. So with this company's reputation of pretty decent quality radiators at actually quite affordable prices, I was really shocked. And they even are throwing us a discount code for 8% off when you use the code SPEED. In fact, if you want to know how easy it is to use their website, let me just show you. So you saw how easy it was to navigate their website, and I mean, you could really get lost on that thing because they have so many freaking options. I mean, I just looked at the 73 Plymouth satellite option list, which was huge. And the radiator I did end up picking was a 22-inch 4-core radiator, which I figured would be small, compact. It's going to be fairly thick, but it ought to do the job perfectly on any run stand scenario, and it should actually fit in just about any dadgum car. And I also picked it because the inlet was on the correct side to run on our 440 that we got from our great friend Steve at Roustabout Rod and Cycle. And we never did have a radiator to put to this engine that was worth a dang. And well, now thanks to Alloyworks here, we have a radiator. So again, thank you guys for sending that to us to do our review. We're going to unbox that here pretty soon. And also, again, for the viewers, it is 8% off, which doesn't sound like much, but when you take a radiator, it's $340 and it knocks it down to $311. That's quite a bit. That's dinner. You know, think about that. So I want to thank them honestly and personally. Now let's put this thing to the test and see if it can actually cool that 440. And of course, we're going to get a stand made for her and get her all set up. So, you guys ready to rock and roll? Let's get to it. All right, so we're back here and we're going to check in with Dad because he is in charge of, well, run stand operations. Dad, what do you got for us?
Well, building a little radiator mount right now.
That was the basic idea, was just to make a little T-stand that's going to fit onto either side without tying them, so that way it could maybe fit any plethora radiator.
Right.
So nice and simple little deal right there, nothing crazy complicated. So what do you say, let's go unbox that radiator and see if we can make some stuff happen.
Let's mark some holes, drill some holes, and be ready.
Let's go rock and roll. Alrighty, so now we're back in the barn. Dad, You ready to show off that daggone radiator that Alloyworks sent us?
There it is.
Well, not just the box. Yeah, go ahead. What do we got in here?
We got a bunch of packing.
Good packing here. This is the kind of stuff you can throw at people.
What can you make out of this?
Well,
A hat?
you could probably make a cowboy hat almost.
Yeah.
Hey. Yep.
Yeah.
You see, it's all the little things. It's not just about the super sweet radiator. It's about, you know, the hats, the frisbees. Whoa! Look at that thing.
The cod pieces.
I don't know if we're going to be... I mean, it'd be better than nothing. That's definitely true. I also want to say I am sporting my Dust Devil Garage shirt in support of my friend Brian, since he has been getting work done on his knuckle duster. And so if anybody's curious about merch, there is merch in the link description below and the pinned comment. I had to just get that out of the way. Now let's check out that
A
radiator.
little too chilly to wear that t-shirt.
Yeah, it's a little chilly this morning, but I'm willing to suffer for the art of my friends. You want to grab that box down there? I'm going to imagine they sent us some relays for this bad girl.
Want me to open it up?
Yeah, go ahead. So,
Oh yeah, there's all your electrical for that electric fan.
and there we go. Wow, that is actually just standing up by some miracle. Wow, that thing is really pretty. It's got a little relief cut down there. And this thing was packed really nicely, and it came like, look, see, it's already got the fan and the shroud, everything attached.
See? Temperature sender
Oh, it even came with a temperature sender. So it's got a thermostatic set fan.
to turn the fan on and off. Yeah.
Wow, that's actually something pretty dang neat. I didn't know about that.
It's got a relay. Look at this. Look at this.
I guess if, you know, I actually read everything on the website instead of just getting enamored by the super pretty radiator.
Fused relay.
That's really freaking, so fused relay with a thermostatic switch, and everybody who's watching this video, if they use that code, they can get this radiator, this exact one, for just $300 technically. But it's a 4-core, it's a really nice deal, and being a TIG welder myself, I mean, I could see some spatter right here, but I mean, every weld looks pretty daggone decent to me. I mean, I've bought my fair share of cheap radiators, $100 Chinesium ones, and I mean just the worst of the worst. And I've seen some goo gob weld. These are really nice. And I love that shroud. That fan looks nice. That cap is very robust.
CNC machined cap.
I know.
19 pounds? Wow.
That is a very robust feeling cap. That feels like you could hurt somebody. I am actually really blown away with that radiator. Dad, I now know we're going to have to get you a radiator for the van. Because that right there is quality.
We'll see what this fan sounds like. If it goes wee, I'm not enthused.
Well, if it does that, then it makes it sound like you've got a turbo or something, or a blower. Or maybe we just put a blower on the Von Duque.
You know, like that electric fan I had on my 49er.
Oh, that one was terrible,
You hear
yeah.
the fan over the engine.
And let's get Steve from Roustabout Rods and Cycles 440 rocking and rolling again, because that thing sounds gnarly and I'd like to hear her running again. Ready, Dad?
I reckon so.
Well, let's put her to the test. You know, one little coincidental thing that I think is just hilarious about the box that they shipped it in, it is exactly basically 9 inches in height from here to here, which is roughly just about as tall as we need to make the radiator with a little stand. So, good work, guys. Made our lives a lot easier. Not only did they give us all sorts of other toys to play with, but the box itself is a great measuring tool. Plus, it'll make a great cardboard creeper in the future, because it is extra thick. Okay, so before we get everything done, we got our little uprights made and painted and got them prettied up. We got a couple of things we need to address with the 440, like, well, this water pump bolt that's, well, not quite tight. Just probably not even the right one, really. So there's a couple of things we're addressing. We need to loop these heater hoses, fix thermostat, probably replace that thermostat housing, and just little general things on this thing that need to happen before it can really be run in. And also, courtesy of our good friends at Jags, they had some gauges in stock for us. So we got ourselves an oil pressure here, water temp, even got ourselves one of the little polished aluminum bezels. So that way we'll have some good gauges on this thing to really make sure that she's running the temperatures that she is, because those are the same gauges I run in the Barracuda, and I trust those. So now we can start measuring and getting all of our radiator hoses and get all this duded up. You ready, Dad? I don't think that hose is gonna work. One little thing I would like to point out about these Jags little gauge kits, not only are they affordable, but they actually come with everything you need to hook everything up. I mean, these things are pretty fantastic. They got nice brass fittings, and these things seem to hold up pretty dang good. So we just got one of our pipe plugs out that fought us for, well, let's just say forever. We'll put a little bit of Teflon paste on this. That's the correct adapter fitting, and then we'll be able to run our mechanical water temp gauge. And I think we're just going to run the electric fan off of a switch instead of using the thermostatic switch, maybe, because, well, it'd be cool to see how that works, but I think in this instance, we're going to see how long the engine can run before we need the fans. So, let's get to it. Let's see here. I know I got Teflon paste around here somewhere. Oh, while I'm grabbing the Teflon paste, which is near the 340, I'll give you guys a quick little update while I grab my tools. That video's coming. We're working on it. But that's not what we're here for today. We're here to make a 440 run again and see if she'll keep her cool. So we got our Teflon paste. We'll get our thermostat gauge all hooked up. Temp gauge hooked up, sorry. Now, dadgummit, I know I just had that temperature gauge somewhere. Where the heck did it go? I bet your dad probably stole it. Dad, you stole my gauges. Ooh, look at that. That's pretty looking. Well, there we go. That's gonna look fantastic.
I put it on a cock. I thought it might make it easier to.
Yeah, I like that little angle there. It's gonna mount to, I'm guessing, the back of the cylinder head. Perfect. That'll give us a good view of the gauges. Make sure the engine's got great oil pressure, good water temp still. So that's awesome. Okay, alrighty. So we have the water temp gauge loosely put in here because we have to bleed that off. We need to get the actual radiator mounted, but the gauges are on now. Beautifully set up by Dad. Thank you, Dad. Alrighty, so there's basically the envisionment for the stand for the radiator. I mean, it literally makes it mobile. Use it for any of our engines. And like I said, it never hurts to have a good radiator laying around, even if a buddy ever needed it. So, I mean, this is pretty fantastic. Well, shoot, I think that is going to be perfect.
You need some longer hose.
Well, I don't think that's the final home, Dad.
No.
And I think that hose might be a little small down there you just threw. Shoot, yeah. That's going to line up perfectly. We ain't got to worry about a fan, an actual mechanical fan. That thing shouldn't really move around too much, and if it does, we can brace it up. So we'll get it up a radiator hose, get some water in her, get fuel reconnected, do a little more wiring, then we can put this thing to the test. What do you say, Dad? You ready?
I reckon so.
You ready to make some freaking noise?
Looks like I gotta do the wiring.
Yep. What the heck am I doing? Enough of us trying to do beauty shots and whatnot. You guys get it. It's a freaking cool radiator. We are just about ready to light this thing off. Let me show you everything Dad's been doing.
Well, I got tried using a toggle switch and a push button. Of course, we didn't have everything what we wanted. I found my brand new cat ignition switch. There's a universal ignition switch for Caterpillar heavy equipment, so it works perfectly. I just run my power wire in. I got fan power. I got a little LED light to tell you when you're ignition's on, and I got the starter wire, so it should just, yeah, it's ready to rock.
Now he's got to get some fuel and some water.
We'll get some water and we'll be good.
Hopefully this thing don't leak.
I didn't bother hooking up that relay and stuff because we didn't use the little temperature sender that turns the fan on and off, and that's basically what the relay's about. Well, it's helping your switchgear too, but it's protecting that little sensor. It is making sure it ain't turning the fan on and off. The relay's turning the fan on and off.
Yeah, in this instance right now, just having the fan running all the time is perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
But when it goes into a car, the relay and the temperature thermostat deal there,
Yeah.
that'd be the way to go for sure.
Well, yeah, because your engine will warm up to operate temperature quicker.
And then your fan will come on.
Just like a modern car would do.
Yeah. Alrighty, so water's going in. And so far, water's not coming out anywhere.
Is your temperature sender loose?
Yes, it is. So that way it can burp the water out. Yeah, that should be able to burp out. So far, so good. Of course, just the first gallon, technically. It's going to take a little more than that before we get to see any kind of water dropping out of this. But hopefully, this thing will hold water. All right, so we just got enough water in it that our temperature sender here, when you just loosen it, you can see it dripping water out right there. That's allowing it to burp all the air out. Of course, we have that a lot more loose when we're getting all the air out, but now we know we got the air out. Tighten that up. Now we can really top this system off. Well, she's completely full. A little over full on the radiator side, but there ain't no drips, no wet marks underneath there that weren't already there. So, you ready, Dad?
I think so.
I know the viewers are probably dying, and I know Alloyworks is ready for us to definitely get this under view. We got the bowls pre-filled, so she might need a little drink. Killer oil pressure. That's a great sound at 440. Fan's working, everything's working on it. And now we just gotta let her run to temp. Not seeing any leaks yet. That is fantastic. Now, if you guys don't remember, our good friend Steve from Roustabout Rod and Cycle has a YouTube channel. He brought us his engine, so thank you again, Steve. Alloyworks, thank you a million. Because that's a freaking killer radiator. Seems to be doing a dang good job. Of course, the engine's still running, getting up to temp, but it looks good. It's not leaking. Everything seems to be working just fine. I don't know what else to say. I'm flabbergasted. For one, I love this freaking 440 right here, but it's just, yeah. Oh yeah, it's probably not a good idea to have that rag underneath there. Well, we're not got a temp yet, so see what happens. Let's get this thing up to temp a little bit faster. Okay, we walked in air door, I think. I was trying to give her some good old Steve Roustabout Watusis.
Uh-huh.
And something stuck open a little bit. But here we are, we're coming up to temp now. We'll see what happens now. Keeping it cool. We'll check back in just a few moments. We're gonna get some doors open in the barn. Oh, sorry about that. Forgot I had the camera going there. We're getting doors opened up in here so we can breathe still. Still not moving on the temp gauge. That thing is doing an excellent job. Okay, the fuel pump is still leaking, but that is not water. That's good. We need to fix that. You know, I can't tell you how many run stand stuff we've done and just videos like this where we've gotten into running, but we never think about, you know, the fumes that we're breathing. We're trying to test out this 440, and this thing won't get up to temperature. Daggone radiator works too good. Alright, it's been a few more minutes. I know you guys may be getting annoyed of this, but it's still ice cold. We got the fan running here, so now we can breathe. Look at this. We're just starting to move. The heads are still just lukewarm, and the radiator is just the same way. It's lukewarm. I mean, this thing is just sucking just the ambient temperature, no real air movement. We're just sucking air out to get rid of the exhaust fumes. And Alloyworks, if I ever doubted your company for making a quality radiator, which I don't think I ever have, but if I ever did, I don't know, you guys got my business, okay? You got my business 100%, for real. So, we definitely want another one of those radiators for Dad's van, because I know that one won't work for it, but definitely need one for Dad's van. We'll be buying one soon, unless you guys want to hook us up again. What do you even say? And don't mind the fuel leak, we'll get that fixed. All right, we're getting some temp there now. We're at 240. We're at 140 now. to get, I mean, this thing seriously refuses to get above 140. I don't know how long it's been running here. I sat here, gave her a bunch of Watusis before I can't breathe hardly anymore. Alloyworks, I don't know what to tell you. I can't make this engine overheat. So we're gonna get that fuel leak fixed because, or at least try to get that fixed before we go any further, because it is getting kind of dangerous right there. So, because this thing sounds fantastic. I've been walking back and forth getting fresh air, and this thing has a sound to it that I know it's just probably stock motorhome stuff for the most part, but it's got a great sound to it. And I'm so glad we get to hear it run. Thanks to Alloyworks for that radiator. You guys haven't been sold yet, seriously. That speed code you can use, SPEED, you know, like in Scott's Speed Shop. Use that, save 8%, and most definitely go pick up one of those radiators, because as I showed you with all the selection they have, they're gonna have one for you. I am sold. Regardless of the fact they gave me that one, I am sold on those radiators and that fan and that shroud. That's just a killer deal. It really is. Considering the normal radiators I buy are from a guy on eBay, and I like them because they look like stock radiators and they do work really good. But I tell you what, for the same money that I paid for this, I could have had a guy with that electric fan and all that stuff, all the relays. And yeah, I don't get the cool old car look, but you know what? The savings and all the extra stuff you're getting with that radiator there, that's the way to go in my book. Especially with the way everything's getting as far as expensive parts, which also going to let you know the red car is headed to a shop to get done, more or less, because I got way too many projects going on and I'm more focused on the Duster as far as the next thing. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this so far. I mean, we got to thank Alloyworks and everybody involved, because wow, I'm just flabbergasted. So I guess we're going to see if we can make this thing overheat now and go from there. We're just above 140. That would be the throttle sticking. Okay. And you know what? After all that, barely above 140. I mean, just a couple of ticks above the gauge.
You gotta remember, we got no thermostat.
I know. Timing's a little off. We'll adjust that. Don't mind the homemade velocity stack. Did you see it shooting fireballs?
Yeah. I don't know if it's running out of gas or something in the carburetor.
Yeah. It's starting to sound like, well, now when we're starting it, it's starting to kick back. So the timing, we probably need to adjust the timing a little bit. Probably slipping a little bit. But there we are. After all this, Redkneck hoolery. 440, I think you want to take a break, because I think we need to adjust your timing. And probably check all the spark plug wires.
That one's kind of down. It should be up.
Yeah. But, I mean, after all that, even with this engine just sitting here cooking, I mean, you could see all the stuff baking off the header still, and I'm just astounded by that. So if you folks aren't sold, then I don't know how much more selling I can really do. I gave this thing my full Watusi. I gave it the full wing ding. I mean, I just channeled my inner Redkneck and I went for it, okay? And she took it. Now the 440, on the other hand, I don't really want to hurt that 440. And it sounds like we need to probably get timing tools out, do a little bit of adjusting, go ahead and throw some new plugs in or run plug wires, and there'll be more in the future on that 440 and its future home. So look forward to seeing you guys then. Again, thank you to Alloyworks. Don't forget to use that discount code, and all the information to get one of their radiators is in the link description below. Dan, what do you got to say?
I gotta say bye-bye.
And bye-bye. Oh, and thank you to Steve from Roustabout Rod and Cycle for the 440.
We haven't loaded up yet.
And for Dad being the best damn dad ever.